Welcome, Jedi and Sith, to episode 17 of On the Shelf, the series. I am your Jedi Council host, Mike. Today, we have with us James Michalak. Jim, how we doing?
Hey, doing all right, man. Can't complain today.
Excellent. I know, Sunday, right? Happy Sunday.
It's a good Sunday.
Ah, it's a great Sunday. So, Jim, we have a couple friends in common, which
We
is
do.
why we are currently here chatting about your what will be your Star Wars collection. You are a part of the Long Island Comic Guys.
I am. I'm one of the co-founders.
Want
Yep.
to talk a little bit about the Long Island Comic Guys?
Oh, we're three guys, including myself. We're just we're, the three of us we met through comic books and collecting, and we just decided on a trip, TC, who we're mutual friends with, him and I decided on our way back, a trip from Rhode Island Comic Con, like, hey, we should do a podcast, or you know get more information out there to people about comic books and what to look for, and how to collect, and all this stuff. And that's basically how it started a couple of years ago. And we just did our 50th podcast, which
Fantastic.
is, it's a big step for us because we
Huge.
don't have a lot. Yeah, it is. And it's, we have a lot of friends out in the industry, writers and artists, and so we've gotten to have them come on our show, and just
Yeah,
it's just fun. It's just something other to do besides work and life. It's
it's
our
true.
out.
I mean, and TC is because of doing the Instagram live with TC is why I put the show together.
Nice.
So that's why we're here.
I
So
think that was our geeking out segment. I think
it was. No, it totally
we
was.
start.
That's what it was. It was
Yeah.
geeking out. I think I was episode 1. I think.
Yep. Yep.
So
I think so.
so Jim, tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself.
Um. Well, what do I say? So, Jim, I live in New York here. I was born in New York. Lived half my life around the world, around the country. I'm former military, a Gulf War veteran. So, I'm very
Sir,
proud
thank
of
you
that.
for your service.
Thank you. Very, very proud of that. But I'm the old guy of the group. So it's funny because there's out of the comic book friends that I'm with, I think there's like 15 of us.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest one of the group, and I collect a lot of different things. My love is Star Wars. It's always has been. I've watched. I'll get right into it. Like I saw Star Wars in 1977.
Awesome.
I was 6 years old, and I fell in love with it back then. And it's funny because we were just talking about this the other day. How we're going to do a show about our time when we were kids, like
Yeah.
what we collect and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's I thought about it, and I think I kind of grew up in the golden age of collectibles and this kind of pop culture, because that's really kind of when it started, was the 70s and 80s.
Absolutely.
And it started with the action figures. I mean, that's when the action figures came out, due to Star Wars and GI Joe. And I remember collecting those as a kid, and playing with them and losing them and biting feet off and biting the little hands off. And I regret that now, because some of the ones I had, they were worth a lot of money nowadays.
I know, it's crazy. But the figures, you're right though. The figures were so I mean it was new. So everything was awesome. Like you never had you had like the GI Joe stuff and everything, like from like the bigger figures,
The bigger, this
right.
is the 12-inch. Yeah.
Right, but now when you start talking about like the smaller figures and like the Star Wars stuff, this was like newer territory for folks at that time. So this was
Yeah,
awesome.
because you had the articulating arms and the legs, and that was kind of the first of when with the whole action, especially the 3 and a quarter inch
Yeah,
figures. And it was such a new thing at that time. They were hard to get a hold of when they first came out, and that whole debacle of Mattel's or Kenner,
Kenner.
sending out you can buy the
Yeah.
kits with
Mm-hmm.
no action figures. I
Right.
remember all that, and it's just thinking about it the last couple of days, like what I've experienced and what I've grown up. And we just did a show on RPG games, and there's a show on Netflix on, it's called High Score, and about all
Yes.
the Ataris, and like that was
Mm-hmm.
my time frame. And it's one thing. It's tough to think about that now because it tells me that I'm getting older, because all this newer stuff is. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to have grown up in that time frame.
Golden age for you. I think that's absolutely right. Like for me, my golden age was like being a child of the 80s. He-Man,
Mhm.
Thundercats, like that was all like coming home from school or Saturday morning cartoons. That's
Oh,
for
so
that's for me
yeah,
when that was my, obviously the as they used to call it, the great babysitter was being shoved in front of the television with a bowl of cereal and
7
watching.
a.m. in the morning on a Saturday.
Absolutely, dude.
And
Absolutely.
it's so funny because when you start thinking about this and you start reminiscing about all the shows you watch and all these cartoons, and it was such a great time. Um, and we're never going to get that back, unfortunately. You're never going to get those '80s cartoons, um, and
No.
it's sad, and it's so with my Star Wars world, it's funny because I'm buying a lot of the stuff I used to own, especially these action figures and everything
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I've got a whole slew of action figures up here, and it's fun just to get back into it. It's overwhelming and
It
it's
can be,
fun at
yeah.
the same time.
But what is Jim? What is Star Wars, especially seeing it in the theaters for and not being in the world of spoilers at that time, and all the crap that we could find out about movies and television shows and everything with like the Mandalorian, to me was a exception because you had no idea that they were going to put a baby from Yoda's species in the show. But
Right.
when you were younger and everything, when you had gone to the movies, you had no idea that unless you walked out, you were standing in line when somebody was coming out of the theater, you would have no idea that Darth Vader was Luke's father.
Right.
Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
So it was a different world back then, and it makes
And
it
I
sound
think,
so antiquated, but it was an exciting time because
right.
everything was freaking new and exciting. You
Right.
know?
And and it and because of that, I mean, I think I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here, but with all the other movies out there that came out in that time frame, without the spoilers, I mean, I think I kind of think that Star Wars kind of started all this. We like, you're a big Superman fan. I mean, we had Superman back in 1977 also.
78.
78, 78.
It's my
Excuse me.
birthday. I know. It was the day
Is
I
it?
was. Yeah, I was actually born on the day that it came out in the UK. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
I
So
and I remember seeing that in the theater. I saw that in the theater.
that's awesome.
And that was such a you're such a young kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old,
Yeah.
and you're watching these movies, and again without the spoilers, and you're in awe of all this.
Oh my God.
And every other movie that came out in that time frame, I mean, and it could be a silly movie now, I just saw Kroll. I'm not sure if you ever seen Kroll.
Yes.
It was a weird B type movie,
Yep.
but I remember seeing that in the theater. And again, that was a movie to me back in that time. It was great. It was like the special effects were unbelievable.
Absolutely.
But you see it now, and you're kind of like,
I say that about the Dukes of Hazzard a lot too. Like I love Dukes of Hazzard. The
Oh,
car. But like you watch some of the episodes now, and like there was an episode with an alien, and there was an episode where they were smoking the reefer, and it was like and you're almost like we're gonna forget about those episodes. But
Right.
but like you said, movies at that time were exceptional for a slew of reasons. So what does Star Wars at this point now in your life mean to you? What does it mean to you? Like what is Star Wars about for you?
It's all about the storyline, the legacy. It's now, because we've had so many different movies, we have so many novels and the comic books and everything else. It's the expanse that they went with it, and it's never ending. You can never end this because there's always going to be a different moon, or there's a different planet, a different species. Right now, I've been playing. I know it's been out for a while, but I'm a little behind the times on the games. But like this Jedi Fallen Order, which came out.
Yeah.
I was just playing it 5 minutes before I started talking to you, and it's such a great story. I love the story in it. I love the characters in it, and it's just to be able to take a story from 1977, and here we are in 2020, and we're still making movies of that, making stories and making games and everything else. I mean, we're talking 40 years of
stuff
and life. It's an unbelievable thing to live, to experience and live with. I've always loved the storyline. Like I said, the storyline, and they can always expand on it, and that's what's great about it. We can go years for this. I mean, you mentioned the Mandalorian. I mean, here we took a completely new story, kind of added it into this whole realm. But again, they took it into a different direction. So it's never going to end, and I hope it never ends.
No, I
Because I
know.
want my kids to see it. I've got 2 young kids, and I just starting to have them watch this stuff, and they get it, they
They get it.
understand
Oh,
it,
that's great.
and it's great to see.
That's phenomenal. Now, how did you feel when they went? Now, for the folks at home who may not know about Star Wars length and breadth of timeline, when Disney bought out Star Wars, they got rid of all of the books, the timelines. They kind of made it like an alternate universe. I think they called it the extended universe now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So they got rid of characters. Like Luke was married in it, had to a Mara Jade, kids, right?
Right.
The Force twins,
son and daughter,
right?
yep.
The Force twins that Han and Leia had, like just
Yep.
stuff. Like Luke went to the dark side, and they grew a clone out of his hand, like crazy stuff. And then they kind of took it and they went, all right, that's all cool, but we're going to pretend all that stuff didn't happen, and we're going to start a new storyline. How did you feel, especially being with it since the start? How did you, what did that, what that happen? How did you feel about that?
It didn't bother me too much because again, before that, before Disney bought them out, I was still reading the novels and the comic books.
Right.
And Dark Horse was great with the comic books. I mean, it was fantastic.
Absolutely.
The new stuff is fantastic also. But so I didn't. It didn't bother me that much because the stories are still out there.
Yeah.
So I can still pick up a novel, and read it, and it's still, again, like I said, it's kind of like an extension onto the movies.
No, you're right. It's like sequels.
It
It's like sequels and expended, other universes, like you said, and galaxies and planets and moons.
Yeah.
I agree. It's in some ways it's a shame that they didn't go, certain ways, because those storylines were fantastic. But at the same time, it's nice to see, reimaginings of things and things.
Mm-hmm.
So when the movies came out that you're not expecting, certain things in the books.
Already done. Right. And
right.
you never know. They may turn around and do a 360 and bring that stuff back. You never know. In snippets and parts. And that's what's great about this is that they can do whatever they want with this.
Absolutely. So do you remember your first piece of Star Wars memorabilia that you ever had?
When I was a kid, probably.
Yeah.
Like the figures. And I remember, we also, I have 2 other brothers. I was the middle of 2 brothers. So we were always fighting. My older brother he got the big 12-inch figures that they had, which are really hard to find nowadays. Right. R2D2 had little chips on the back. You had a door that opened up. And, but yeah, most of it was just, it was the figures that, and the X-Wings. And, you wanted the big Millennium Falcon, which you couldn't afford.
Oh my God. My cousin had that. It was crazy. That thing was awesome.
Yeah, it was all great, but most of it was the figures, that I remember vividly. I'm trying to remember it. It was just mostly the figures.
So, normally on the show, go ahead.
At that time too, I was also into GI Joe, so it was a toss between GI Joe and Star Wars, and there were times GI Joe was fighting Star Wars, so
It's amazing they never did that in the comics. It's amazing all the crossovers that they've done in all the decades since, when you see Transformers and G.I. Joe and all the other things that have gone on. It's amazing that they've actually never done some sort of thing with Star Wars and G.I. Joe. But who knows?
In my head it happened.
So normally, Jim, on the show, we do a show and tell type portion. So do you have any neat stuff that you want to show the folks at home?
I took some stuff out. One of the things I can't show is my, I have an original. It's the poster of the Star Wars, the New Hope. So it's it's Luke Skywalker holding a lightsaber. It's the iconic, poster.
Yeah.
But I have that. It's been 15 years in the making. What I've been doing is getting people that have been in any of the movies to sign this poster, and I've got 68 signatures on it so far.
Wow.
So, it's one of those things where, I want to get it framed and put it up, but then I don't, because I don't want to miss out on a signature somewhere, because I don't want to have to take it out. So I remember, buying this poster of the first New York Comic Con. I think it was in 2006. We had Peter Mayhew there.
Yes, I got his autograph that year too.
He was my first autograph on the poster.
Really?
It was such a great experience because, the way it was set up, it wasn't that big, that show.
No.
So he was at a table. It was him and his wife.
Yep.
He was by himself, almost all day long.
I remember.
Going on. And I had to throw money because I kept feeling bad for him. I was like, sign this thing too. No, sign this. I must have gotten like 20 things signed. And it was like $30 to get it signed. It was cheap, but I felt bad. And then Mark Hamill was there also. And, you know, it was funny. I was there when they, you know, Mark went over to his table, shook his hand. Mark's signature was like $60. Like, it was cheap too. It was, so they were my first two signatures. So I tried to get anybody that's been in any of the movies on this poster. You know, I took a lot of flack from people. I should get, you know, one poster and whatever, whoever's in that movie do it. But you know what? I don't want to have posters all over the place, and that's just time consuming.
Very time consuming.
So one person, and I don't get any of the people that have been in animation or anything else. It's just strictly movies. But that's my pride and joy. I basically got everybody, all the big names on it except Mark Hamill. Except Harrison Ford.
So even James Earl Jones?
No, I'm sorry. I got James Earl Jones on another signature on his. I don't consider it counts. If it's not on my poster, so eventually I'm hoping to get his. Okay. But I have his signature on another poster, on another, I collect these autograph things. Yeah. So I have, I guess I'll show you my first one here. So here we've got, it's James Earl Jones and David Prowse signature.
Yeah, oh, it's awesome.
Signature. And then, you know, I've got people, you know, Anthony Forrest, who played a stormtrooper. Yep. John Morton, who he played Dak. He's a really nice guy. But yeah, I like collecting the autographs. Julie Dolan, I love her. She was the voice of Princess Leia. A funny story with her, real quick, is you know she was doing a free autograph. You know, I think it was on it was a Facebook thing. And you know, if you comment back, hey, I'll take a free autograph, she'll send you a free autograph. And
really,
so I did this. Yeah, it was really odd. And so I sent her a message. I was like, I'd love to have one, and I said, please don't personalize it. I don't like my autographs personalized. I don't sell my stuff. I never sell my stuff, but that's my. I like, you know, it's nothing of mine is personalized. She had an issue with that. She's like, well, you're going to turn around and sell it and all this stuff. I'm like, listen, Julie, I swear to God, I'm never going to sell this. I still have these emails back and forth. We were emailing each other, and I think it went on for like 2 or 3 weeks. And
really?
She can't do it. I don't want it because my stuff ends up on eBay and people sell it. So I basically had to sit there. I wrote out an email, and I was like, listen, I'm never going to do this. I promise on my mom's grave, I will never, ever sell this. And then, like, a couple days later, I get it in the mail. And it's funny because occasionally I'll send her a message on Facebook or Instagram saying, hey, look, I still got it. This was probably 3 or 4 years ago. So it's pretty funny. But that's pretty cool. And that's what's great about this. You get to, you know, meet these people, you know, out of the blue, like Mike Quinn, who played Nubs in all the Star Wars. Like, I met him at a couple shows, and we became such, you know, friendly. Like, he Facebook friended me, so you know, we talk. Yeah, and it's kind of cool because you get to meet these people. But I'm a big autograph hound. I try to, you know, collect those type of autographs. I'm also a Topps cards. You know, yep. And that's the other thing I used to collect as a kid was the trading cards. The 1977 cards. You know, all of them. I still have. I just got some that are still unopened. Still the pat, you know, so it's pretty cool. But you know, I love collecting those autographs mostly, and that's how I got started back into this as an adult. You know, being in the military, moving around, you don't have a lot of room to collect stuff and everything like that. So, you know, in my older years now, you know, what got me back into collecting Star Wars again was the autographs. I mean, basically my poster was the start of it all, and it's just snowballed down from there.
Yeah, you sent me the pictures of it. It's freaking beautiful. Like it's really it's a work of art. Like the poster itself is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like you said, the C poster. But then you start adding all of those autographs onto it. You know, in the different color inks, the golds and the silvers and everything, and it's just beautiful.
I try to get everybody done in silver. I've got one person who Peter Mayhew did it in gold. Yeah, that's what he wanted. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Everybody's done in silver. I've had one person that I'm going to say he pissed me off. He started signing it. He was a modeler. He created the Death Star. His name Colin Cartwell. I think that's what his name is.
Okay.
but he's old. You know, and that's the problem right now. Some of these guys are getting much
Yeah.
older. I think he's in his 90s, and he just started signing real big and almost
Oh,
went across like two signatures. And I'm like, I yelled, stop, scream, stop. And I was like, you can't do this. No, stop, do what
right.
you're doing. I don't want this signature now. He's like, but I got to finish it up. I'm like, but you can't go over these names. I mean,
Yeah.
so I can notice it's real close to another signature, but yeah, you got to be careful. I have to be careful. I don't think that project's ever going to end.
Well,
To
it
be honest
shouldn't.
with
I mean, it's like you said, as long as they keep making Star Wars movies, there would be no reason for it to end.
you. Yep. And the other guy I missed Kenny Baker. I was supposed to see him at Rhode Island Comic Con, and he died 3 months before. But I got his signature on
Something else.
something else. So these are pretty cool. So, some of the Star
neat.
Wars, there's such tight knit communities.
Yes.
So I also like to collect custom figures. So this is a custom figure of Kenny Baker. It's actually Kenny Baker.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see it. Oh, wow. And oh my God, the likeness is freaking fantastic.
Great. And then Kenny signed it. So, and these are numbered.
That's
so
awesome.
This is the only signature I have of his. I also have it on a Topps card, but yeah. And then another friend of mine did this Kenny Baker. So it's Kenny Baker in an R2 unit.
That's awesome.
This guy's great. I'm actually friends with him. He lives in Florida, but he's with the 501st. And he used to do this. He doesn't do it anymore. He used to make custom figures, but he's kind of retired out of it.
Yeah.
He makes great custom figures. That's one. And then this other one I got, this came out when Harrison Ford broke his leg.
Yeah.
So he came up with a one with a cast on it. And it's actually named the movie that it was supposed to have been named,
Right.
Rise of the Sith. So this is an older card
That's
that he made. But
with the cast.
yeah, it's good. And then one of my favorites is a Death Trooper. There was a novel called Death Troopers.
Yes.
It's a great book. I love this book. I've read it so many times. But he actually made a figure, a zombie stormtrooper.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So big fan of the. And this is just something else, to collect in this whole world of collectibles.
But it goes to show, and I love, and I've talked about this in other episodes, the creativity that these movies have inspired in people to do stuff across the board, not like art, modeling, graphic design, and even the stuff like doing, the 3D, custom figures. It's crazy, and I love how our genres have done that stuff for people. It always it fascinates the hell out of me. That it's so many levels other than just like, I like space movie. It's more it's inspired people to be astronauts, and it's inspired people to just do all sorts of crazy stuff. It's freaking fantastic.
And I've got a couple of buddies who live in the Netherlands who, a few years ago, what they did was they went out to the Lars homestead out in South Africa, or in Africa. And they restored it. So they were part of a team that went out there and restored it. And what they did was, I guess, two of these guys are they're in the whiskey world. So, Scotch whiskey. So that's what they do in that part of the world. So they came up with their own line of Scotch whiskey to help, I guess, pay for this trip.
Right.
So they made 100 bottles of this one bottle, which I have. I have all three. They made a trilogy, one for each movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's just another part, of this, what people do for this story, for this world, for this hobby, I guess.
It's a way of life. I got to be honest with you. Like I know, and it sounds cheesy almost to say out loud, because I know that like I've seen like people actually like follow like the Jedi Order like in real life and stuff. I've seen lots of stuff, but I feel like sometimes the sentiment is there. Like you're apart from the killing the younglings part, like you're want to be a Jedi for the good stuff in life. The positive stuff. You don't. People have good intentions, I guess, when it comes to becoming like actual Jedi in the real world. But it's all done with good intent, I guess. It is the best way to say it.
No, I hear you. Yeah, it's I don't know. I've slowed down a lot, because there's so much stuff out there. I mean, I can bring out so much stuff. Companies that are no longer in business. I love this company. So there's a company called Code 3.
Okay.
What they did was they made die cast models of fire trucks. That's what they used to do. Code 3, they were a distributor of die cast fire trucks.
Mm-hmm.
But years ago, they got into the Star Wars. I guess they got a Star Wars license before Disney bought them out, where they were making die cast. I have an AT-AT. I have a Slave 1, and these are heavy. These are big ones. And I'll show you this one here. This is cool. This is the Skywalker Ranch fire truck. Because Skywalker Ranch has their own fire department.
Really?
So this is their fire truck that they use, 1589. And what's cool about it, this is their fire patch. It's the...
oh, wow. That's pretty.
This came with this. But yeah, this is the Skywalker Ranch fire truck.
Bring it up a little bit, Jim.
Yep, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. There we go.
It's all die cast.
And it even has the Skywalker Ranch logo on the doors.
Yep.
And the front. That's awesome.
So, this is one of my other prides. That I love this thing. I love, and it's not just regular Star Wars stuff that I collect. It's stuff that's outside. Like this is a Skywalker Ranch, fire truck.
Right. The patch is cool as hell. Like I'm not a patch collector, but yeah.
It's pretty wild.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Like Metropolis has one. Like Metropolis, Illinois has their fire department and police department have Superman on their patch.
Oh, do they really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I've been there a couple times, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Not in the lungeable reach right here, but but I do have both of them. I have both patches.
That's cool.
It's I'm not, because I'm the same way. Like I'm not necessarily like, I won't collect anything at this point in my life with just an S on it. Like I won't collect like napkins or plates that have it on it unless there's some sort of like sentimental value to those items. So I like to start getting more things, especially with Superman, that are more interesting to me. I don't want to say rare, because rare sometimes implies expensive. And I'm not looking for expensive pieces. I'm looking for stuff that I find interesting.
And that's the same way with me. There's a lot of stuff that I have. I've turned stuff away, because again, it gets overwhelming. I mean, you've got this. I mean, with Lego, my God. I was on a Lego kick where I was buying every single one, and it got to a point where I was like, all right, I can't store any more of this crap. I mean, it's just, and Lego, it's
Lego.
It's Lego. I'm done. And it all depends upon the piece. One of my favorite pieces, back in, I believe it was 2009 or 2010. I work in Midtown. So at the time, we had the big Toys R Us at Times Square. Mm-hmm. There was one weekend where they brought this full size X-Wing in the middle, made out of Legos, full size.
Damn.
Like it was 1-to-1 X-Wing in the middle of Times Square. And it was so cool. And, at the time, Lego did a special thing with Toys R Us, where if you bought the Red 5, Lego X-Wing, you got a free, minifig, which this is it. And, and there's only 1,000 of these things.
But I love what it says on it, though. I love it. It says New York, I love. That's freaking
right. And mine is still in the bag because I refuse to take, because again, this is very extremely limited, mm-hmm. but you can't. I'm done like buying Legos like this. It's overwhelming. What I'm buying now, I will occasionally pick up an action figure, an older one,
right?
If it's something that I'm interested in, but I'm not out there to get every single one anymore because it's overwhelming. And I've got other hobbies. I mean, I'm a comic book collector, and I just started getting into statues. Thanks, TC.
Thanks, TC.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's overwhelming, and I'm trying to slow down.
Yeah. Sideshow. I've recently just got my first. I'm looking up at it right now. I did an unboxing on it. My first Sideshow Superman piece. And
which one did you get?
The animated series one. And
okay.
Jim, it is gigantic. It's probably, with the exception of a custom piece that I have, which is right off camera. Actually, I'm gonna do this because I can, because it's my show. See that that fella right here.
I see that one.
Fantastic piece.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
in Sideshows, I cringe every time I get a new email from them. When I first discovered them years ago, I was buying the Star Wars. They were doing they were the giant figures. They weren't statues, but they were figures. And
Yeah.
I have every
Oh
single
my god.
stormtrooper that there is. And
Oh my god.
it got to the point where I was like, I got to stop buying these damn things. And they're on a wall right now in a different part of my basement, and I can't even get in there. I don't even want to see them anymore because I'm just tired of seeing them.
I hear you.
But yeah, the statues are just
It's insane.
It's unbelievable.
Insane.
It's crazy.
So do you have any other accoutrements that you want to show for the class?
This is my Star Wars number
On.
one. I love, back to my comic book world.
Yeah, Marvel.
I'm trying to collect, a lot of the older Star Wars run. I read them now. I love them. And then I just started getting into art. So, I just got this done about a year or two ago.
Oh wow.
This was done by Mark Brooks, who is a comic book artist.
Beautiful.
And he's done some amazing work. But that's my only Star Wars art that I've got. But yeah, I have so much stuff. I got my 1-Up arcade in the back.
It's probably just out of camera range for us, but it's the first thing. Yeah, it's beautiful. Look at you.
Yeah, and then my stormtrooper helmets above it.
Beautiful.
And then up. I've got it's an original art page of Princess Leia issue 4, page 7. So it's one of the pages from the comic book that I got done, which was that was something special to me because I was a big, I love Princess Leia. I was, Carrie Fisher. I got to meet her once.
Me too.
And it was an experience I'll never forget because she actually. It's a great story. So real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
New York Comic Con. I was online for 4 hours waiting for her. I think her autograph was like $200.
I think we were at the same show. We were at all the same shows, bro. Because I have the same one. I had the same experience. Line wise and price wise, same experience. But please go ahead.
So being online for such a long time, and I knew a week before that her mother, Debbie Reynolds, was sick.
Yes,
she wasn't feeling good, so she was really sick. So I was up there. I got up online and. She said, we were doing small talk, and I turned to her. I was like, "How is your mother feeling? I read that she's sick. Is she doing much better?" And she actually put her pen down, went back on her chair, and she's like, "Thank you for asking." And she was just so happy for me asking. And there was her usher was trying to usher me out.
Yeah.
She told him,
"Stop.
Wait, I'm talking to him. Stop."
Awesome.
We had a conversation for 10 minutes.
Really?
Talking about her mother, and it was just such a great. Experience that, granted, this is Carrie Fisher. This is a dream experience of just being able to talk and meet her. But then I'm talking to her personally about her mother, which again is such an iconic woman.
Yeah. Debbie Reynolds is awesome. Was an awesome person.
Too. Great. And it was just nice for her to even hold up the line and said, wait. And we talked about her mother and how she was feeling and everything else. And it was, part of me was like, why did I even ask about this? But again, it was just more, I'm that type of person where, I feel, I know who her mother is and she's sick. Right. I'm going to ask her.
You know what it is, dude? It's people sometimes forget when they go to these shows and stuff, and they just see they think like not Carrie Fisher the person. They think just Princess Leia and I love you as Princess Leia, and they don't. And for you to do something like that, it's not surprising that you were probably the only person that day out of all of those signatures. And again. I talked with her for a minute, 2 minutes, and I know you're against personalized signatures, but for her to write "To my Magic Mike" on my autograph, boom. But for you to it's gonna sound crazy, but for you to talk to her like a human instead of a character on a in a movie, it probably completely derailed like any sort of just like sign, nice to meet you, swipe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You made her feel like a person for the day instead of just a character.
And I think a lot of people forget to do that. I mean, they're normal people like you and I. Mm-hmm. Fortunately they they're famous. But I had the same experience with Bruce Campbell. Army of Darkness. I love this guy.
Oh my God!
My first time meeting him at New York Comic Con, I got to talk to him, and it was one of those experiences again where. I said one thing to him, and he's like, "Whoa!" And we had a conversation, and he gave me his signature for free. He's like, "Dude, I'm not charging you."
That's awesome.
Because we had a great experience, and you know, it was just, you put them at, your level, you're going to get something, you know, personal out of them.
9 times out of
That,
10, yes, I agree 100%.
if you're just going up there and, all starry eyed and all nervous, you're going to get a different reaction of being somebody like, hey, how are you? Well, maybe if you know a little bit of background on the person, you ask them. It's not going to hurt to ask,
That was Adam. I had that experience with Adam West,
Oh, nice.
and what was his name? Ponch from
Chips.
yeah.
Nice.
He was. We had. We were talking, and somehow it came up my profession, and he got so excited about talking to me about it. And he was wearing like one of those like that Blues Traveler's vest with like 8,000 pockets in it, and he just starts like pulling out all this stuff to talk, and like the picture I have with him, like he was just like just so excited, like you said, to like when you're not just like, I like you on television, you were good when you rode a motorcycle. It makes them feel like a person instead of
Right.
just a piece of meat, which is
Right.
whatever. But
Plus, if I'm giving you $200 for an autograph, I want something a little bit, come on.
Right.
Give me something.
So, Jim, let me ask you: if you had like unlimited funds and access to some sort of time machine, TARDIS, phone booth, DeLorean, and you were able to go back, from 1977 to across the world, even to go across, the pond to where they were first filming it, what would be that Grail item? Do you have a Grail item that you have that, apart from your poster filling all of getting every signature, that you really are like, a Darth Vader helmet, or like, actually a screen used like Luke Skywalker lightsaber? Like, what do you have that piece which you're like, man, I wish I had that?
I don't, because, I'm pretty happy with what I've got now. And, yeah, would that be great in a perfect world? I would love anything like something real from this movie. I would love that. But, I collect what I love,
Yeah,
and I'm happy with that.
that's awesome.
And, some of the things I've got is funny because, I'm going to say 3 years ago, Christie's Auction House, they're a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
auction,
yeah.
like Sotheby's. They did somebody sold all their Star Wars stuff. And, I looked at I got the catalog one time for that. And, some of this stuff went thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And going through this catalog, I'm like, I got the same thing. It's right here. Like this thing, I have a training droid. Can I turn this?
Sure.
It's right up
Oh,
there,
I see it. Yeah,
And then I've got a thermo detonator right here.
I see him.
Those sold at Christie's for thousands of dollars. And, I've got one, and I'm happy with that. I don't need, if I find something and I get a good price on it, I'm going to buy it. I don't really care if it's, a Christie. It's whatever's personal to me and what I like at that time.
I got to be honest with you, brother. You're probably the first person to really on the show to really say like, I'm good. Like, and again, it's just it's an interesting thing because, like you said, you like what you like, and it's not necessarily something that you feel, what everyone else wants, that you feel that you need to have.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so again, like even owning the 3 bottles of the whiskey is awesome. It's something different. It's neat. It's something that's neat.
And I like collecting things that, a lot of people don't have, that company, the training droid and everything else, the company that makes that is Master Replica, who's no longer in business.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of them out there. And again, it just all goes back to, I see it. I was like, oh, can I afford it? Do I like it? There
Check.
it is, And one of the great things, my wife, she's a big supporter of my collecting world.
That's
Obviously,
huge.
she allows me to do, what I do with the podcast and, with the hanging out with the guys, the comic guys. And I've got 2 little kids, so she's a huge supporter of me. Herself is a huge fan of Star Wars.
Oh, it's even
She
better.
was born in 1977. She's back in school, high school. She did a report on George Lucas.
Really?
She's an attorney. You go into her office and she's got Star Wars crap all over her office.
Love it.
So, and she's, I'm going to say now, she's probably bought most of my collection for me.
Really?
She knows what
But
I
she knows
like,
what you like, right? Oh, it's fantastic.
and she does a lot of the, she'll do a lot of the research and everything else. And, I've got a great support there. You know, I got to thank her, you know, for everything that I've gotten able to enjoy. Because you can't
Man,
do without, you know, your wife or your spouse. You
you
know.
know, it's nice to hear that. And again, you know, there's a lot of people out there who feel that, you know, again, talking with people who want to come on the show and followers on social media and stuff. It's nice to hear that there's two people who have, you know, been together however X amount of years that you've been together, who share a common interest, who are able to, like, you know how, like, when you want to buy something for somebody, you know what they like, and
Yep.
you're able to, you know, do the research and find out those things and get it. And it's like, well, perfect. It's like you were literally in my head and knew exactly that'd be what I wanted. That's awesome. It's good for you
It's a
guys.
great
That's
thing.
freaking great.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love hearing stuff like that. See, folks, if you're she or he or they are out there.
They
Promise.
are.
I promise they're out there.
It took a while to find this one, so I'm happy.
But they're out there. I promise you. So, all right, Jim, I'm going to ask you the question, which I have now asked 16 people, my brother included, because he was episode 16. If you had one shelf in your house,
Oh, hold on.
earpod, it's all right, earpod down. Oh, nice 3D printer. So if you had one shelf that you were in this permitted, not by your wife, just in general for space constraints, but it's a theoretical shelf, so it could be as big as or small as you want, and you're only allowed 3 items for said shelf. What 3 items would you pick from your collection to put on it?
Oh wow. Oh wow. I don't even know. Geez.
I know it's a
You
it's
know,
a it's a hell of a question. That's why I
I'm
like
a
tech.
you
That's
know
why I like asking
yeah.
it.
My vintage one would have to be my vintage figures. You know, unfortunately, I'd have to group them together. But you
It's
know,
okay.
I've got a blue snaggletooth, which is, you know, that's a hard one to get. I got a yak face, which is, you know, that cost me an arm and a leg. But again, you know, those are my favorites. I don't know, I'd have to say my figures. I'm a big fan of those, and I've got a few lightsabers I like. You know,
Okay. Which would
yeah,
be your favorites? Let me ask you. So we're going on a different tangent for half a second.
sure.
Favorite Star Wars character. Who was your favorite? Who was your go to guy, girl, or alien in, you know, across the universe? Who would you say would be
Wow.
the person you like the most or relate to the most?
You
Either
know,
one.
you know, and it's not one person. I'm a fan of stormtroopers, all
Okay.
types of stormtroopers. It's, you know, I love the way they look. You know, the different helmets, the different, you know, just the way they look. If I had to pick a side, I'm on the Empire side. You know, um, I'm a big fan of the stormtrooper look, and it's just the white armor, the helmet. I have a full set. It's not put together yet. I've been working. This has been another
Labor
probably
of
seven
love.
years in the make. Yeah,
7 years.
but
Okay. Wow.
you know, it's I when I find the time, I try to put it together. But I don't know. I got so much going on in my life
Oh
with,
yeah.
you know,
I
everything.
get you.
It takes a back burner. But I'm a big fan of stormtroopers.
That's
It's
awesome.
a weird thing. Yeah,
No, it's not. Listen, again, I try explaining to everybody that it's not weird if it's what you like. You know,
yeah.
everyone has a reason, a method to the madness for who they like, dislike. I mean, there are people out there who are like Jar Jar's the bomb. You know,
Yeah.
I,
I
I mean,
don't find anything wrong with him. He's fine with me.
I like the fact that there was I don't know if it's rumor, and maybe you would be able to help me on that one. Was it true that they were going to potentially make Jar Jar a Sith?
I heard that. Who knows?
I mean,
I heard the same thing.
plot twist, fantastic. Make the
You know,
goofy guy a murderer.
and that right. And you know, and that's the problem. You know, here again, when that movie came out, here I was happy. We got another Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I didn't care what I like the character. I didn't think anything wrong with them.
No.
It could be a little annoying after you watch the movie 300 times. Yeah. But when it first came out, and you're like, "Oh my God, we got a new Star Wars movie. This is a new character we've never seen before."
Right. New culture, new species, new
Oh,
planet. Yeah. Yeah.
it, it's you know, you just I guess you got to just take it for what it is. You
I
know,
agree.
you're not going to make everybody happy, but I'm happy with it all. You know, there's not one character I dislike
That's fantastic.
in the Star Wars
I
world.
wasn't even going to ask you that, but but I'm glad you actually said that. So I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
listen, Jim, I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. I got to tell you, the background again. I wish that the folks at home could see exactly the expanse of this, and maybe when we're done for promos and stuff, I want to get pictures of all this stuff because it's freaking fantastic. I want to thank you folks for tuning in, for watching. This has been a fantastic time, and if you have a collection that you are interested in talking about, if you're proud of it, if you're passionate about anything, I'm talking anything, come on, drop me a line. I'm here. We have fun. We have a good time. You watch this, you could tell it's good stuff. And if you haven't done yet, subscribe. The button's right down yonder. Just hit it once. I promise you, lots of good content, lots of fun stuff. Again, Jim, thank you. Thank you to the Long Island Comic. Thank you to the Long Island Comic guys. Thank you to we're going to actually put all of your information, all of the the podcast stuff and everything. Congratulations on your 50th episode, which is awesome sauce. Thank you. And we will see you back for episode 18. Have a great one, folks. Take care.